Welcome everyone to the fifth meeting of the House Standing Committee on Economic Development and Workforce Investment. I want to remind everyone here, if you haven't already done so, please silence your cell phones. At this time, Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Representative Bauman.
Here.
Representative Branscombe.
Here.
Representative Bratcher.
Here.
Representative Callaway.
Present.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
Here.
Representative Hart. Representative Huff.
Here.
Representative Jackson.
Present.
Representative King. Representative Kulkarni.
Present.
Representative Lawrence.
Present.
Representative Lockett.
Here.
Representative Pratt.
Here.
Representative Sharp.
Present.
Representative Swan. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt.
Here.
Chairman Weber.
Present. We do have a quorum and can conduct business today. We have one bill on our agenda. That is Senate Bill 7. Senator Mills, if you'll come forward. I think Representative Bray will be with you. If both of you all could just introduce yourselves. And then we do have a committee substitute for Senate Bill 7. We'll adopt that. And then after we've adopted that, you can base your explanations on the sub going
Very
forward.
good. Senator Robbie Mills from the 4th District in Northwest Kentucky.
Representative Josh Bray, 71st District.
Do I have a motion on the sub? Representative Lockett, and then I got a second, I think from Representative Huff. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no.
No.
Senator Mills and Representative Bray, if you all can begin your discussion now based on the sub.
Very good. Senate Bill 7 is simply designed to stop the practice of public employee unions from using taxpayer-funded payroll systems to collect political contributions and union dues from its members. State law prohibits us as legislators from using public funds, time, and personnel for partisan campaign activity. The same standard should apply to all public agencies. If Senate Bill 7 is passed, Kentucky would be following in the path of other states who have acted to prevent public coffers from being used to collect private dues and political contributions. Senate Bill 7 uses many of the same campaign finance definitions found in KRS 121 and excludes organizations which primarily represent public employees working in the protective vocations of active law enforcement, jail and correction officers, or active fire suppression or preventative personnel from the definition of labor organization. Public employers should be focused on using taxpayer resources for the public agency's core mission, not upon collecting political contributions and passing them along to political action committees. Several courts have ruled, including the U.S. Supreme Court, that there is no constitutional right to a payroll deduction system for political fundraising. Section 4 of this bill in sub does grandfather existing collective bargaining agreements, so this prohibition will not go into effect until the existing collective bargaining agreements expire. Mr. Chairman, this bill does not prohibit the practice of collective bargaining between unions and public agencies. This bill does not prohibit public employee unions from communicating with their members regarding political issues of importance to them. And finally, Mr. Chairman, this bill does not prohibit public employees from contributing to political action committees. They can freely exercise their First Amendment right to contribute with a check or credit card. Mr. Chairman, that's my brief comments on the bill. Representative Bray and I are here. We'd be happy to answer any questions, and he may have a few comments for himself.
Motion on the bill?
Representative Lockett made a motion. I did not get Representative Bratcher the second. Do we have any questions? Oh, sorry. Representative Gentry.
Thank you, Mitch. Can you hear me? Thank you, Mr. Chair. Guys, I'm kind of ripping through this real quick, trying to figure out what's been added. Could you explain all the specific differences between the original version and what's been handed to us this morning?
Absolutely. So in the original version, there were several more prohibitions in it. Those were removed. For instance, the First Amendment clause that would had to been handed to each employee, that was removed. The prohibition that would require the union member to opt in every year on an annual basis, that was removed because once the relationship is between the member and the labor organization, government shouldn't interfere with that. The idea behind the bill is to remove government from that process. Those are the substantial differences. In the other bill, it was a little clunkier as far as the definitions. We had state retirement employer and state retirement employee. That was stricken out as well.
Follow up, please.
Yes, you may.
Is this a combination of two bills, the House Bill 364 that came in through this committee before and Senate Bill 7?
It's not a combination, no, sir. The mechanism is different. There have been different compromises with different organizations made through that, and between the different bodies.
And one last follow up, please.
You may.
In your opinion, how does banning automatic deductions for union dues improve economic development, workforce investment?
Well, the intent of this bill is actually to get political contributions out of the public sector and using the mechanism that is the payroll deduction system out. We're not able to do that as a legislator and throughout state government, and we believe that it should be all throughout public agencies. That's my goal of this bill.
Representative Lockett. Well, John, any other questions from anyone? Seeing. So we have no questions from members at this time. We do have a couple of individuals who have signed up, Eddie Campbell and Mary Rubel from KEA. If you will come forward. If you all will introduce yourselves for the record, and after you've done so, you can go ahead and begin speaking on the bill.
Good morning, Chair Weber. I'm Eddie Campbell. I'm a Midland High School music teacher from Knox County, currently on leave serving as president of the Kentucky Education Association.
I'm Mary Rubel. I'm the executive director of the Kentucky Education Association.
Thank you, Chair Weber and members of the committee. I just want to point out KEA represents over 43,000 active teachers and education support professionals in every community all across the Commonwealth, and we thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My comments were focused mostly on 7 before there was a committee sub that came in right before, so we're in the process of looking to that. I would love to be here testifying today about how over 160 years we have advocated for public education, how we elect representatives throughout our association to make decisions on our governing bodies, how we would like to work together hand in hand to make sure that public education in the state of Kentucky is a great experience and individualized for every student in the state of Kentucky, but that's not an issue that we're focused on today. As I've said in previous testimonies, no educator is forced to join KEA. Educators make an informed decision to voluntarily join KEA and how to spend their hard-earned money. Senate Bill 7, as I knew it, focused primarily on PAC donations. Evidently, it's now withholding all dues deductions from a system. When an educator chooses KEA, they can choose whether or not they want to donate to PAC. It is not required. It is not connected to their dues. It is a personal decision, just like any other financial decision that an adult makes on a daily basis. Members can leave KEA whenever they want to. They can stop contributions to our PAC anytime they want to. They simply do that by notifying us directly in writing, or they notify their employer directly. Current law requires that employees to authorize all voluntary payroll deductions in writing, and also allows them to end those voluntary payroll deductions in the same way. KEA promptly honors those requests as soon as we can when we receive them. And many school districts allow educators to utilize payroll deduction for a variety of other purposes beyond just paying their association or union dues. The process of dues deduction, or any deduction from a the process of dues deductions, or any deduction for that matter, has been allowed for decades by this legislature. It is a simple keystroke that is done through an automatic payroll system at the district level. It is a district decision. It is a local decision. KEA uses no state or local employees to solicit or force contributions or the joining of KEA. In addition, this bill contains an emergency clause, and I think, Mary, if you correct me, there is an emergency clause on the current one.
Yep.
There's no legitimate reason why there should be an emergency clause on this bill. What is the apparent emergency? This has been done, again, I said, for decades. Members have had this option. Kentucky educators are one of the most highly skilled, highly degreed workforces in the Commonwealth. They're well informed about their professions, and they're involved and engaged voters. Educators make hundreds, perhaps thousands of decisions to further their primary purpose of providing Kentucky's public school students with a quality public education every single day all across the Commonwealth. Kentucky citizens trust educators to make decisions for their students that they serve. We ask that the Kentucky legislators trust educators to make decisions for themselves and what they choose to do with their hard-earned money. I ask this honorable body to please vote no and let educators make decisions for themselves. So please vote no on Senate Bill 7. Mary?
We just got this a few minutes ago, but it is clearly targeted at the Kentucky Education Association by carving out cops and firefighters and the other entities that are described in here. I know I can't, and I don't think anybody in the room can name another public public labor organization that meets the definitions in here. It also says in the emergency clause, the Commonwealth has a compelling and immediate interest in avoiding the appearance that public resources are being used to support partisan political activity. An emergency is declared to exist. That makes a lot of assumptions about how the money that we have collected for PAC over the years has been used. I will point out that that money has gone to both sides of the aisle. It went to both sides of the aisle as recently as just a few months ago. Checks were made out to caucus. We routinely endorse both Democratic and Republican candidates for office. It is inexplicable to me why there is suddenly an emergency about this, but it is also apparent to me that this is targeted at us for reasons that we frankly just don't understand. So.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions for presenters? Representative Callaway.
That in 2022, the National Education Association had made a proposal that they would change in their contract the term birthing parent and interchange that for the term or the word mother. So they would take mother out and put birthing parent into their contract. And looks like they came back and did something in pulling that back. Is that term, has that been changed in the contract that you all have with teachers?
So, Representative Callaway, let me explain. The National Education Association does not have a contract with us or with any educator in Kentucky. In fact, they don't have a direct contract with any educator nationwide. The National Education Association is the overarching organization. There are separate state affiliates. Within Kentucky, there are local districts that do have contracts with their employees. That is not the case everywhere. It is the case in a few instances. I believe what you're referring to, although I don't know what you're looking at, is the national organization once a year has a conference, what they call a representative assembly. During that representative assembly, much like during this assembly, lots of ideas come up. People make proposals about what resolutions and what policy positions the organization should take. Those are voted on by the members who are present. Some pass, some don't. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Kentucky Education Association adopts those. We don't have any obligation to do that. We don't always do that. And we push back when we think it's appropriate. So I don't know what you're looking at, but I can assure you there is no contract between us and the National Education Association that says such a thing.
Are you all an extension of the National Education Association?
We are an affiliate of the National Education
Okay.
Association the same way that you all belong to different organizations of your own.
Thank
So,
you.
Yes.
Representative Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank both of you for being here. Are either of you involved directly or indirectly with KEA PAC?
Yes.
Okay. And so within your organization, is there any differentiation between the Kentucky Education Association and the PAC if both of you are involved in the activities of both? How are you able to differentiate your duties when you're involved in both of those organizations?
In the same way that candidates differentiate between themselves and their political fundraising. So the PAC is a separate entity. It was created years ago. It is separate and apart from KEA. It is governed by CREF. We make regular reports to CREF. That's always been the case. I'm involved in it only to the extent that it operates within the purview of the Kentucky Education Association, like all other PACs operate within somebody's administration. So, as a lobbyist, I cannot be directly involved in it, and I am not directly involved in it, but it does operate within the organization.
And the PAC has a separate council that is elected across the state. They elect representatives to the state who make decisions on behalf of the PAC council.
Representative Bauman.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to ask two questions, if I may. All right. I was curious, as you see it, does this bill before you today limit those you represent from organizing, assembling, collectively bargaining in any way?
No, but I don't believe that's its intent.
Okay. And can you tell me how much money your PAC spent in the recent school board election in Jefferson County?
I can tell you that KeyPAC spent $0 in the
Okay.
recent election in Jefferson County.
Okay.
That is a misunderstanding perpetrated by people outside of this entity. JCTA is one of our locals, but it has its own separate PAC approved by CREF decades ago. That PAC is called Better Schools Kentucky. They operate within Jefferson County. KeyPAC operates in the rest of the state. We did not spend any money on the Jefferson County school board races.
Thank you for clearing that up for me.
Representative Baker.
I have a few questions, if I may, Mr. Chairman. You said that you're an affiliate of NEA. Could you tell me how much money you send to the NEA each year?
NEA sets dues each year for members. I believe this year they're roughly $230. I don't have the breakdown. What is
I
it?
think there were 195.
So per member, that's about what gets sent.
Could you tell me how much that money goes to Planned Parenthood?
I can't tell you that because I don't know that.
Okay, but it does go to Planned Parenthood.
I don't know that either. NEA is a separate entity that makes its own decisions about what it does with the money that we send to it. Sometimes we agree with those decisions and sometimes we don't. I don't know how much money it sends.
Ma'am, if I didn't agree
any.
with those decisions, I wouldn't send them money. And I'm sure that many teachers across the Commonwealth would not write a check to Planned Parenthood, yet they entrust to you their money, which is then funneled to Planned Parenthood.
Representative Baker, anybody who's a member of KEA is a member of KEA by choice. If they don't like what's happening, they can always choose to stop their membership, and people do that.
Do you notify your members that money does go to Planned Parenthood?
I don't, because no KEA money does that. They're members of the national, state, and local where that's appropriate, and where they have a local, and they have the same access to information about NEA that everybody does. There's 990s, there's public filings. They can participate in governance in both the state and national levels, and all members, we don't keep anything from the members about what goes on.
Well, today they should know where their money goes and how that money is spent, but thank you.
Representative Bratcher.
I just wanted to clarify. You all have like 43,000 members, right? Is
That
right?
includes retired students and active members, yeah.
Yes.
Active members. And then out of that, I guess your dues are like $618 a year, somewhere around there for a full.
That's roughly the amount. Local, our locals set their own dues. So, for instance, the dues in Jefferson County are different than the dues in Floyd County. So,
But just a ballpark, right?
right.
And so out of that, on your website, it said that $30 of that 600 or whatever goes to the PAC, right? So if you've got 43,000 members times $30, that's $1.3 million. And it showed that you all just gave $100,000 to the Brashear campaign. So that $100,000 to the Brashear campaign, which leaves you $1.2 million left for PAC. Where's that other money go?
So, Representative Bratcher, that is way overstated because the only people that we collect PAC money from by payroll deduction are the members who opt into KEA membership. And if you look at our CREF report, there's about, I don't even know the number, 10 or 12,000 people who donate to PAC. The retired members don't donate to PAC by payroll deduction because they don't have payroll. So that's
Okay,
much overstated.
My correction. That would be about 300 and some thousand then. So and then 100,000 went to the Brashear campaign. So that leaves 200,000. Where'd that other 200,000 go?
Wherever the KeyPAC committee decides it's going to go.
Do the members decide where it's going, or does a committee decide where it's going?
The committee is comprised of members who are elected up from each county. Everything that goes on at KeyPAC is decided by KEA members who participate in that governance structure.
Thank you, Chairman.
Representative Kulkarni.
Thank you, Chairman. Can you all explain what the voluntary versus mandatory nature of opting in to these contributions is, and what the process is for individuals who don't agree in terms of disclosure of where these contributions go? Like, what is the process right now in terms of how individuals contribute and when and how can they opt out?
So members choose membership, and in choosing membership, they can also choose to opt out of contributing to KeyPAC. And that's done by simply checking a box on the membership. When there used to be a paper membership form, you checked a box. Now you can check a box on our digital form and opt out. So you can be a KEA member and choose to not contribute to the PAC, and that carries with it no problem from our end. Only about half of our members choose to contribute to PAC, and that's fine. What was your other question?
If somebody doesn't agree, for instance, with where a contribution is going, how would they find that out, and how easy is it for them to opt out, which you just explained was a check mark?
Right. So we make the required filings with CREF quarterly that lists every penny that is spent by KeyPac. And if a member who is contributing to KeyPac wants to participate in the KeyPac governance structure, they need only stand for election and get themselves elected up through the governance structure to do that.
And even if they're not elected, they have access to those elected members to bring their concerns to the committee.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions from members of the committee? We do have a motion and a second on the bill. Senator Mills or Representative Bray, do you all have any closing? There being none, at this time we will move with a roll call. Sasha, please call the roll.
Representative Baker. Yes. Representative Bauman.
Yes.
Representative Branscombe.
Yes.
Representative Bratcher.
Yes.
Representative Callaway.
Yes.
Representative Elliott. Representative Gentry.
No.
Representative Hart.
Yes.
Representative Huff.
Yes.
Representative Jackson. No. Representative King.
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Kulkarni.
Briefly explain, Chairman.
You may.
I'm a no vote today. There's not a single union member that I've spoken to or heard from that supports this legislation, and it places an undue and unwanted and unnecessary burden on the free speech of our working families. Thank you.
Representative Lawrence.
Yes.
Representative Lockett.
Yes.
Representative Pratt.
Yes.
Representative Sharp.
Aye.
Representative Swan. Representative Tackett Lafferty. Representative Truitt. Chairman Weber.
Yes. All right, we need that.
Yes.
All right, Senate Bill 7, as amended by committee substitute, is passed by this committee and now moves on to the House floor. Thank you, Senator. All right, do we have a